What's up, guys? This is Coy with Baker Forge and Tool. We are here at my shop and we are going to do a shop tour. Over here we've got our forging area. Got our even heat kiln. I do all of my copper work in a kiln. My heat treating of any knives, stainless Damascus, it's all done even heat kiln. Moving over down here, we've got our pair of anvils. This one is a Wilkinson 135 pound out of Amish country, Pennsylvania. This is where I do all of my main forging. I've got a second anvil. This is just a 100-pound hay button anvil. Now this one is super special because it was my great-great-grandfather's. Moving down to my Whelen 24-ton hydraulic press. Now I have previously never owned or operated a hydraulic forging press before, but after a lot of research and a lot of time spent on the internet, I built my own. This thing is a beast. So it's 24 ton, it's run off of a 5 horsepower motor, 22 gallon per minute hydraulic pump, interchangeable quick die system. We got rounding dies, stock sizing dies, squaring dies. It's probably my most used piece of equipment in the shop. Moving on down, we've got our welding setup. My oxyacetylene torch, argon tank, which runs my TIG inverter. Then I've got a big old Hobart stick welder. And then we've got real small little 1-ton arbor press. Up here we've got all my aluminum oxide belts for grinding wood, masks, face shields, eye gear, clamps, all hung up there. And then moving over here, a Mary Braid 2x72 belt grinder. Runs like a champ. Love it. I actually mounted it up here because I wanted the workbench a little higher so I can really see what I'm doing. I didn't want to be, crouching over. All of my rough billet grinding is done here. As you can see, we got a pile of copper Damascus billets. All right, moving on down, we've got my little Delta bench grinder. I almost exclusively use this for touching up and grinding the tips on my TIG gun. I do have a buffing pad on this side that I use from time to time with knife handles, but primarily this is just for grinding my TIG torches. And then a bunch of ceramic grinding belts. You can never have too many grinding belts, right? A bunch of junk, an old forge. This is my first propane tank forge I built. Don't use it anymore. It still runs, it needs to be relined, but for now it sits over here. Big old air compressor underneath. Here's another arbor press. This arbor press is a 3-ton. Our drill press station, I've got 2 drill presses. Stepping back over here, this is my main workbench. It's a full 4-foot by 8-foot workpiece. We got some Damascus that I've made. Our brass, I normally have big stacks of copper. I'm actually out of copper right now, waiting on a shipment. Damascus stock, anything that's already cut to size and ready to use is gonna be here. I've got my Milwaukee deep cut bandsaw set up. This, you'll see I've got other bandsaws, but this one is specifically dedicated to cutting down copper and non-ferrous metal stock. It's set up on a foot pedal for hands-free operation. Cool. Over here, our saw cutting station, miter saw, DeWalt miter saw for cutting lumber, wood, PVC, anything that's not metal gets cut on that saw. A DeWalt abrasive disc cutoff saw. This is really where I'll take raw billets, as you can see, and lop off all the handles or the ends. Anything that's hot can get cut on this saw, not on my band saws, so hot billets come over here to get their handles cut. As you can see, we've done quite a few billets. This is not near all the handles, and some of them are in this junk bucket, which is actually a bucket full of billets that were scrapped. Basically test billets of concepts and designs, shear testing billets where we test the shear strength of the welds, obviously testing the temperature and the melting point of some material. So all of those billets are in there. This is just a big bucket of failure and learning experiences. Moving over here, we've got our clutch horizontal bandsaw. This is our main production bandsaw here in the shop. It is a 7-inch by 12-inch cut table. It has hydraulic, downfeed, and coolant. We can cut all kinds of stock on it. Our Damascus stock, we can cut our end cuts off on our billets. I even cut my big chunks of I-beam on this for making my press and rolling mills. It is a 7 by 12 inch metal cutting bandsaw with coolant and a hydraulic downfeed. This saw was a game changer to cut large quantities of steel, so I can put up 20 billets in this and chop ends or chop stock for Damascus, and this thing is a huge time saver. Over here we've got our work in progress rolling mill. This will be for another video. Moving over here to another bandsaw. I don't use it a whole lot. If I cut any big sheets of wood, it would be done on this, but I really don't use it a whole lot. Over here we've got our rolling tool cabinet. In here we store all kinds of stuff from drill bits, sockets, wrenches, clamps, welding supplies, electrical supplies, storage of all miscellaneous stuff. This is my Landis 3B surface grinder. I picked this thing up probably a year ago or so on a major steel. This machine is a workhorse. We grind all of our billets. Anything that's got to be surface ground and clean is all done on this machine. This thing's running pretty much all day, every day when the crew's here. It is 3-phase, and I do not have 3-phase power in this shop. I convert it through a variable frequency drive, a VFD. Maybe I'll do a video in the future on converting 3-phase machines to single-phase so that you can run these things in a small shop with only single-phase household power. This is my forge cart. It is a Venturi style box forge. I built this thing to be able to take apart and move if need be, so the burners all pop out. This top forge section actually just lifts off the base, and so if I ever wanted to build a different forge to set on top of it, I can use the same base. Maybe in a future video we'll go into depth as to how I built my forge. Really don't look at it too closely because it has shifted and warped over time. I need to build a new one, so it's a little rough to look at, but this thing gets super hot. The older it's gotten, and I can't explain this, but the older it's gotten, the hotter it gets. This thing, within 20 minutes, can melt steel. I built the cart to hold all my tanks and my hammers and my tongs all on the side. So it's kind of an all-in-one. I can roll it around the shop as need be. Starting here on the end, we've got a set punch, piece of round stock on a handle. I use that for drawing operations on the press. This is a wrench with a handle on it, small flatter for the press, flat jaw tongs, flat bar tongs, square jaw tongs, large square jaw tongs, fullerene tool for the anvil, flat stock tongs, hammer eye tongs, and another flat jaw. I make all my tongs out of rebar for the most part. It's just easy and fast because I hate making tongs. And then my hammers, we got a small ball peen, carpenter hammer, sledge, 3-pound sledge. Made this hammer a long time ago. It's a little cross peen hammer with a flat on one side. A dog's head hammer that I made, and a couple of forging hammers. This is a 3.5 pound forging hammer out of 4140, and a little 2-pound forging hammer, a rounding hammer, flat side and a round side. We got a flatter that I made a while ago, another fullerene hammer. I picked this up at a yard sale a long time ago, and another punch setter. This is a hammer made by Mr. Lilly on Instagram. He makes a lot of forging hammers, and this is one of my very favorite. It's a rounding hammer, 3-pound, with a flat face and a rounding face. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you would, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Baker Forging Tool.